What's good, YouTube? Today I am continuing my journey of reading through the storyline and plotline of Marvel Rivals with Volume 7, Season 7. The hunt is on. So, yeah, already did the other 6. Now I'm on to 7. Here we go. The hunt is on. Page number 1. The worst of times. The citizens of New York have suffered through their fair share of turmoil of late, thanks in large part of the city's recent hostile takeover by a legion of bloodthirsty vampires. Just when it seemed like the veil of internal darkness that had fallen over Manhattan was finally about to lift, another crisis unexpectedly began to unfold. This one perhaps even more bizarre than the last. The Daily Bugle, owned by Ben Urich, shot the goat, hit the streets to gather eyewitness reports from local residents regarding the strange events occurring in Lower Manhattan. Excuse me. I was just out for an evening stroll when it happened. Recall Stanley Lieber. A blazing red light suddenly washed over the city skyline. I thought we were under attack by aliens again, but then I got a better look at where the light was coming from. It was that swanky skyscraper. The swanky skyscraper Lieber was referring to was the international headquarters of the megacorporation Alchemex. However, according to another witness, the building may not have been the source of the disruption itself, but rather the target of something far more sinister. Yeah, I saw that red glow coming from that tower, proclaimed Jacob Kurtzberg, and I figured the Alchemix bombs were up to no good. But then all of a sudden, these, I don't know what to call them, space wrinkles, I guess, appeared in the sky around the building. Before you knew it, the whole place crumbled into a ball, like a piece of scrap paper. Then it just vanished. But another bystander confirmed that the site didn't remain empty for long. I know this sounds crazy, but before I could even blink, there was a new building right there in its place, said Florence Steinberg. It looked all strange and futuristic, not the prettiest thing I've ever seen, that's for sure. But then again, I think most of the towers they're putting up these days are eyesores. I prefer something a bit more classic with something with style. Unfortunately for Miss Steinberg, the Alchemix Tower wasn't the only building to undergo a drastic renovation. The entire neighborhood surrounding it also started to change dramatically, with the city's historical architecture being randomly replaced by unusual structures that seemed straight out of a science fiction film. The Daily Bugle reached out to Mayor Wilson Fisk's office for more information about the mysterious events, but no official comment has been offered yet. Despite the mayor's silence on the matter, his actions speak volumes. As of yesterday, Fisk has put Lower Manhattan on lockdown and has begun to evacuate the affected areas. Rumor has it that Fisk has also used the situation to put his long-desired hero ban into effect, criminalizing any unsanctioned activity by superpowered individuals. Inside sources have hinted that major arrests have already been made, and that some legendary champions of justice are currently being held at a secret prison known as the Vaults. Keep checking the Daily Bugle for more on the situation as it develops. So, yeah, in this page, this whole narrator is talking about how everything that's been going on with New York. Back in season 1, we had the whole Eternal Night Falls with Dracula coming out of nowhere and erecting his castle in Central Park, and him turning people into vampires. And the heroes got to fight him off, Fantastic Four and everybody else. And now, once again, New York is under peril, or as they thought it was. But people thought it was Alchemax that was making stuff up, and it was the reason that was for all the red light and glows. New Yorkers are used to everything with the aliens and the attacks, because everything happens in New York and Marvel for the most part. A lot of stuff does. And now the Alchemax building materialized basically out of nowhere, kind of like a Titan, Attack on Titan. And they seem like, oh, this is not the same building that was here before. It's kind of futuristic. What's going on? Why did it change all of a sudden? This is magic. And it wasn't the only building that changed. It was also the whole neighborhood around it that changed, because I'm guessing the time stream entanglement and all the other stuff from all the different things that has been like shuffled and shelved together and then spit out to different timelines and time streams and multiverses because all the chrono energy and chronovium stuff. So yeah, now there's a different Alchemix building that came out of nowhere, and now people are like saying, "Oh, maybe that's the reason why this red glow and all that has been going on." And there's like different eyewitnesses speaking there about their experiences of seeing what was going on with the whole red lights and all that. So yeah, got the new Alchemax building, futuristic one. Got the Avengers Tower right there. Got the little prison right here. You got the Sanctum Sanctorum right there. And is there anything else? Maybe I can't really see. Don't really know. Maybe look for the Baxter building, but I don't see it. Maybe is that it? Maybe can't tell. Or something over here. Don't know. But yeah, Alchemax Tower got it materialized out of anywhere, or out of nowhere. And now it's futuristic. It looks different. People don't like it and all that. And yeah, let's see what's going on with it. Page number 2. Here we go. Oops. Wait. Catch me if you can. If they can. You heard me, Mr. Wesley. Winston Fisk demanded into his phone as he lumbered down a corridor within the vault. Where are the explosives in the affected area? As a contingency plan, order must be restored to my city one way or another. Yes, of course. I hope my other option pays off instead. But for it to do so, I must find someone capable of executing an impossible mission. Consider the cat, a voice said from the shadows. Wilson Fisk turned and saw Felicia Hardy, the criminal known as the Black Cat, the goat, sauntering out of the darkness with a playful grin on her face. Ah, Miss Hardy, Fisk said. You got my invitation. I did, Black Cat responded. And when the mayor of New York City calls, I'd be a fool not to answer. I would have been here sooner, but I got distracted. I thought I saw some sort of nine-tailed fox following me, but then it disappeared into. Should we get down to business? Fisk interrupted. Sure, Black Cat said. Though I would have preferred meeting at City Hall instead of a prison. This place triggers a lot of bad memories. I assure you, my dear, Fisk said. My intent is to keep you on the side of the bars. In fact, if you are able to finish this one small job for me, I'll grant you full immunity, as well as a district of this city to control as you see fit. That's quite the reward, Black Cat said, almost too good to be true, which means there's got to be a catch. The object I desire is currently being held in a place beyond my jurisdiction, asked Mayor Fisk said. Where? Black Cat asked. Her curiosity piqued. New Jersey? Worse, Fisk replied. The extra-dimensional depths of Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum. Ah, Black Cat said. That makes more sense. I was wondering why the former kingpin of crime himself needed to call in an outsider contractor. So which of the doc's occults audits are you trying to get those big, meaty hands on? The Eye of Agamotto, the Wand of Quantum, Watu, Watu, the Table of Life and Time? Fisk responded. Oh, I remember that one, Black Cat exclaimed. It can give its owner some sort of ultimate power, right? That does sound like your kind of thing. I assure you, Fisk snapped. I seek the tablet for the good of the city, not for my own personal gain. Okay, okay, Black Cat said. I'll get it for you. But breaking into a stranger's house won't be easy, trust me. I've tried. I'll need something from your private collection to help me get past the front door. Of course, Fisk said, opening his giant fist to reveal an intricately crafted bronze ring, the Ring of Zana. I have tried to use it to open portals myself, but to no avail. Perhaps you will fare better. I'm sure I will, Black Cat said. Luck tends to be on my side. I hope so, Fisk responded. I have a feeling you will need it. So, yeah. Fisk, Wesley was like, yeah, we need to get this thing. So was Kingpin, and he was like, we need to get this object in our hands so we can do what we need to do. And then Black Cat was like, she's waiting in the dark. Trying to be all inconspicuous and mysterious. And now she comes out of the dark. She's like, oh yeah, y'all can hire me to go do it. And it was like, okay, maybe you'll be better. And then she also thought she was being followed by Miss White Fox here. And yeah, she disappeared out of nowhere. So she got undetected, I guess. And yeah, now Black Cat and Kingpin and Wesley, they're making this deal with each other. Like, okay, you get this thing for me, and if you get this thing for me, I'll grant you full immunity. You won't be able to be charged with anything, basically. So yeah, she took the deal. She was called by him, and yeah, now she has to go steal the what's it called? The table of life and time. She'll go steal that for Kingpin from the Sanctum Sanctorum, and you know how on lockdown it is. So yeah, she would take that, and then her deal will be completed. She get that for Kingpin, and you know Kingpin. His whole thing is, I'm not gonna use it for my personal gain, but it's for the good of the city. Sounds like somebody else that I know in real life that says that a lot and doesn't go through his promises. But you know, that's not here or there. Anyways, yeah, that's about it. My captain will break into the Sanctum Sanctorum, get the table of life and time, the tablet of life and time. Give it the Kingpin. He's gonna do whatever he needs to do with it. But, quote unquote, it's for the good of the city, which is gonna be Cap. Anyways, look at the goats in their undercover uniforms and whatnot and outfits. Homecoming. Page number 3. Tiger Division Director's Log Entry 2603-S7. Recording Director Amy Hahn. Alias White Fox. Things are spiraling out of control in New York City, far faster than I could have predicted. When international intelligence networks first alerted Tiger Division that frequent cross-timeline travel was starting to break down the barriers between dimensions, I considered deploying a team of agents from Korea to New York to assist in mitigating the damage. I had previously established a relationship with Mayor Wilson Fisk, during a series of operations designed to restrict interdimensional hero activities across the Pacific region. So I assumed that Tiger Division would be welcome to help stabilize the recent chronal disturbance in Lower Manhattan. I was wrong. Fisk insisted that the matter was beyond Tiger Division's authority and that he had everything under control. So I watched and waited while Fisk declared martial law and started arresting any superpowered individual that stepped into the city's evacuation zones. But he imprisoned my fellow Korean national, Seo Hee, who is not only a Tiger Division special operative, known as Luna Snow, the GOAT, no, but also a K-pop star beloved by millions. The mayor of New York recklessly elevated a local crisis into an international incident. That's when I was forced to take action. In order, in order to help protect other heroes from being unjustly incarcerated by Fisk's regime, Tiger Division has now established a temporary secret base on the campus of Empire State University. I have personally provided a number of heroes with alternate identities so that they can continue to operate freely without fear of Fisk's retribution. Their dual identities are known only to Tiger Dimension agents with Kumino level clearance. Dr. Stephen Strange is currently volunteering at the ESU Health Clinic as a campus medic under the alias Stephen Sanders. Rather than saving lives with sorcery, he's relying on his unrivaled skills as a surgeon once again. Peter Parker has returned to his alma mater as a graduate student where he is leading the photography club and documenting daily campus life. Due to his well-guarded secret identity as Spider-Man, no false identity was required. Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, has joined the Empire State University faculty under the guise of Dr. Danum Kett, a guest lecturer from Vienna University specializing in astrophysics. Meanwhile, Susan Storm, the Invisible Woman, has done anything but fade from sight, positioning herself as the rising star of ESU's debate team, Rhiannon Lando. I will be making frequent undercover trips to campus to gather intel and to help coordinate these heroes as we plan a counterstrike against Fisk. The sooner we can release the captive heroes and take back control of the city, the better, because if the readings my science team have provided me are correct, we need to be focusing less on the corporate regime running New York and more on the time warping effects spreading across the island's southern end. The fate of the city and perhaps multiple timelines could very well depend on it. In recording. So yeah, page number 3, this page. It's a recording of White Fox, narrating about everything's going on in New York, about how the heroes are getting detained and incarcerated and imprisoned by Fisk, his whole regime, because they're superheroes. He hates that because he can't do his crime freely. So when they're there, they're going to stop him. Get in his way, stop his plans. Thwart him. And so now White Fox is helping the heroes of New York with these secret identities. Like I read out. You got Doctor Strange at the top, Reed Richards on the left, Peter, so Spider-Man in the middle, my Ghost Sue Storm on the right, and you got White Fox at the bottom in her disguise, trying to gather intel from the other heroes so they can find out where they're holding the heroes and stop Fisk from detaining people. So yeah, that's about everything that happened on that page. I had also captured Luna Snow as a mission because she's also a part of the Tiger Division that White Fox is also a part of. So yeah, so now she got to help her colleague, her agent partner, break out, and yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Page number 4, Fallen Saint. The good Satan speaks, and if you are wise, you will listen. My ultimate prize, the Tablet of Life and Time, has eluded me once again. As the patron saint of the fabled Thieves Guild, I have dispatched my most devoted acolytes to retrieve his ancient Talokanel artifact from my countless times. From me countless times. Somehow, no matter how skilled they were in the ways of thievery and deception, they always found a way to fail me. I found a new hope when the self-proclaimed kingpin of crime, Wilson Fisk, was anointed the mayor of New York City. I knew that he would do anything to be worshipped by the masses. So when the timeline began to fracture and New York's safety began imperiled, I seized the opportunity to help Fisk become the city's savior for a small price. All Fisk had to do was retrieve the tablet of life and time and deliver it safely to me. If he did, I vowed to him that I would use my magic to undo the damage caused by the coronal plague sweeping across the city. Fisk get all the credit, and I would get what I had coveted for so long. At first, Fisk balked at the idea of anyone having leverage over him, making him reluctant to accept the deal. But when I informed him that the other option was that I would simply claim his beloved city for myself, he quickly reconsidered. Despite his criminal past, Wilson Fisk was never a true thief. He was fully aware that he lacked the skills required to breach the Sanctum Sanctorum, where the tablet was being held. In order to pull off such an elaborate heist, he brought in an expert of his own, a former member of my thieves guild, who called herself the Black Cat. When the cat eventually returned with the tablet of life and time, it seemed that Fisk had lived up to his end of the bargain. I cast an incantation to cleanse the city of its chronal curse. Expecting instant results, however, for some unknown reason, my magic had no effect on the strange structure at the epicenter of the incursion. It was as if the building had been shielded by a powerful extra-dimensional force beyond even my grasp. But it mattered not. Perhaps one building remained in its time-altered state. But I had quelled the spread of the spread of the disruption. As promised, I took my prize and left, leaving Fisk to handle the aftermath of his own. When I returned to my domain, I locked the tablet of life and time away in my vault. But when the time came for me to finally put it to use, I was shocked to discover that the artifact in my possession was nothing more than a forgery. I had traded my services for a useless hunk of stone. The mortals played me for a fool, and they will pay the price for their transgression. Every last one of them. So yeah, in this page, the Gilded Saint is saying that he made a deal with Kingpin so that Kingpin, he would rule over the city. He would, so it would be okay. So yeah, Kingpin, he technically does care for the city, but it's also for his gain, so that he will be remain in power and New York will be safe. And Yeah, the Tablet of Life and Time was like their deal that they had made. So that's why Black Cat would go grab it in page one to give it to Kingpin so he could give it to the Gilded Saint. And so, the deal went down. And let's go back. He also called out Kingpin wasn't like a real thief. He ain't like that, you know what I mean? He don't be like that for real. Because all he does is uses his money to hire people to do the job for him. He only do the dirty work by himself. Called him out and clowned on him a little bit. And then he was like, okay, so the person from my guild is going to help you, or a former person from my guild is going to help you get something for me. So yeah, I can't go grab that. That's able to light the top of the Black and Time for Kingpin, so Kingpin to give it to him, so that New York will be safe from the whole magical things that's going on with New York. So yeah, deal went down. Kingpin gave him a fake tablet of life and time, and betrayed him. So yeah, to go to say he did his little incantation to clear New York of its magical situations going on with it. And he found out, okay, this is fake. So yeah, somebody better bring my tablet of life and time, or we're gonna have a problem. You know what I mean? You wanna backstab me? Okay, okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's all right though, because now I'm gonna get back, and every single last one of y'all gonna pay for giving me a fake. So yeah, that's basically what happened in this page right here. Thinking he got it, but it wasn't real. It's not real. Final page, page number 5. Here we go. Pound number 1. Better the devil you know. So I might have done something naughty, but to be fair, that's perfectly on brand for the Black Cat. When the Kingpin hired me to steal the tablet of life and time for Doctor Strange's house, I knew his plan would ultimately benefit him more than it benefited New York. See? Still, I accepted the gig because Fisk offered me an epic payoff, my own district of the city to lord over with total immunity. That's everything a girl like me could want. Well, almost. During the heist, I crossed paths with a super spy called White Fox. We tussled at first, but then Fox passed me inside info that Fisk had made a deal with the Gilded Saint. The supernatural creep burst by my old pals in the Thieves Guild. Fox asked me to hand the tablet over to her entire division for safekeeping. But I decided to trust my instincts and do what I thought was right. Instead, once the deed was done, I headed back to my penthouse only to find an unexpected visitor waiting for me on the rooftop. Dr. Doom had come with an offer he thought I couldn't refuse. If I gave him the tablet, he would grant me immortality. 9 lives are more than enough for me, so I made Doom a counteroffer. I asked him to sever the centuries-old pact between the Thieves Guild and the Gilded Saint, releasing the Gilded members from their eternal servitude. Doom seemed impressed by my boldness and agreed, but then I mentioned one small but important detail. I already delivered the tablet to the Kingpin. Furious that I let him on. Doom ranted in the third person and conjured some dark magic that made my hair stand on end. Before he could attack, I pulled a surprise out my satchel, the tablet of life and time. It was hard to tell, though, to tell through his metal mask, but I think Doom was actually caught off guard. Doom demanded to know what was going on. So I spilled my secret once. I found out the Kingpin had aligned himself for the Gilded Saint. I realized I was on the wrong side of this battle. I couldn't go through with the deal as planned, but I also knew that Fisk would have his goons hunt me down if I backed out. So after I made my delivery, I procured a finely crafted replica from a forger who owed me a favor. Then I used one of Rocket's high-tech gadgets to swap the tablet in the Gilded Saint's bolts with the fake. I'll be honest, I have no idea how it worked, but it did. What can I say? I'm lucky. After verifying the artifact's authenticity, Doom signed off on my new terms and vanished into the night. And while I'm not sure if the city is any safer with the tablet in his hands instead of theirs, I know for a fact that I feel a whole lot safer now that it is not in mine. So on this page, we find out that Kingpin actually did not dupe the Gilded Saint. It was actually Black Cat that duped Kingpin. And so, yeah, she went back to her penthouse after she tussled with White Fox at the Sanctum Sanctorum. And then, White Fox was talking to her. Was like, hey, we got these secrets and these things on Kingpin, so take him down and free everybody else. And then she was like, nah, I gotta go with this plan. So, yeah, she dipped. She went back to her penthouse. Doom was waiting for her at the penthouse give her a deal, and she counteroffered his deal with her own, saying that okay, if I give you the tablet of life and time, then you have to stop and sever the centuries like old ties that the Thieves Guild and the Guild of Saint has together. So yeah, she at first she's like tricked Doctor Doom, and then he got mad and he started tweaking, ranting and monologuing in the third person and just going on and on. And then so she like, and then he also like did this like magical spell that like White Fox Black Cat like freaked out a little bit. And then so she pulled out the Tablet of Life and Time, the real one. And then she told Doom that, oh, actually, yeah, this is the real one right here. And so yeah, they made the duel together. She gave him the Tablet of Life and Time. Then she made this little thing with rockets, gadgets to get the real Tablet of Life and Time out. And then she put the fake one, gave it to Kingpin. Then Kingpin gave the fake one to Gilda Saint. And then so Gilda Saint got mad because he thought Kingpin had duped him, but Black Cat did. And yeah, now Black Cat she dipped, gave it to Doctor Doom, and now Doctor Doom's gonna do whatever he needs to do with it. So yeah, oops. Bill number 2. Look at the two goats, same room. Devil's Reign. Wilson Fisk stared out the window at the futuristic tower where Alchemex's international headquarters once stood. The Gilded Saint failed to remove this stain upon my city. Fisk snarled, so I must take matters into my own hands. Fisk walked to his desk and reached toward a large red button. You sure you want to do that, Mr. Mayor? A voice said from a shadowy corner of Fisk's office. Fisk recognized the voice immediately. It belongs to Daredevil, the goat. A foe Fisk thought was missing and gone, and the strange building outside was proof that reality isn't always what it seems. The devil of Hell's Kitchen returned. Fisk said, to what do I owe this pleasure? I came to stop you from making a terrible mistake, Daredevil said. You tried that before, Fisk said. It didn't end well for you. That was a different there was a different devil. Daredevil replied, in my timeline, there was nothing I could do to prevent New York City's destruction. But here, I still have a chance, if you're willing to listen. Go on then, Fisk said with a raised eyebrow. Plead your case. I know the time rift around the Alchemax building is a threat to the city, Daredevil said. Realities are becoming unstable and collapsing into each other. I've experienced the results firsthand. Then you understand why I must eliminate the problem at its source, Fisk responded confidently. I understand that you're trying to protect your people, Daredevil said. It's why you put the city under lockdown. You made a deal with the demon. I've done worse to ensure the safety of those who chose me to lead them. After all this time, Fisk said with a grin, you have finally become a guardian willing to accept the necessary evil. If you press that button, Daredevil replied, explosives will sink the entire southern tip of Manhattan. You might destroy Alchemax, but you will destroy thousands of lives along with it. That's not necessary, it's just evil. It's the only option left, Fisk said. The situation has spiraled out of his control. Your fellow vigilantes have defied my orders, breaking out of the vault and taking my most prized possessions. A cursed cloak, a starlit mask, and an enchanted stone with them. I'm sure those items are safer in their hands than yours, Daredevil said. My hands are guided have guided the city towards peace and prosperity. Fisk snapped back, and my hands will preserve them at any cost. Fisk reached out and pressed the red button before Daredevil could stop him. He turned to face the window, ready to face to ready to watch the destruction unfold. My bad, golly. But nothing happened. About those explosives, Daredevil said. I defused them before I got here. I probably should have led with that part. Get out! Fisk yelled, his large hands balling up into tight fists. Daredevil walked toward the door of Fisk's office and paused a moment before he departed to offer one last warning. It wasn't only heroes who escaped from the vault, Daredevil replied. Dracula broke free as well. If you really do care about the city as much as you claim, Wilson, it's time to start cleaning up the mess you've made. So yeah, in this panel, the GOAT stepped in. Matty, Daredevil, he stepped into Fisk Tower, stepped into his office. He was like, hold on. He seen Fisk was going to reach for the red button to take out the Alchemax building, and Daredevil was like, "Oh, you don't have to do all that. You chill out, because like if you press that button, it's gonna blow up the Alchemax building and also everything that's around it." And Kingpin was like, "Okay, so I thought you were gone. I thought you were dead." Or no, he said, "I thought you were gone. I thought you were missing." And there's also this obviously isn't the same Daredevil from this timeline in this dimension, so it's a different one. And then so I guess maybe in Kingpin's timeline, this timeline, I guess maybe Fisk killed Daredevil or something like that, but he was sounding because he was like, "Oh, you tried to stop me before, it didn't work out for you." So I'm guessing he killed the Daredevil that was in this timeline or something like that, maybe. And so yeah, this Daredevil came in and was like, "Stop! You know I do all this." And he's talking about his past deals that he made with the devils and all that to keep everybody else safe around him. And this was like, okay, so you've accepted there's necessary evils. And he was like, no, that's not what he was saying. He's saying that if you do press that button, it's gonna blow up everything around the Elcomax building as well, not just the building itself. He was like, okay, we know that the Elcomax building is causing this time incursion around it, so that's not good. Everything is like coming out of that portal, and I was missing and turning everything else around it futuristic and weird. So we have to figure out another way to stop it. And then Vince brings up, okay, the Guild of Saint didn't work. His spell didn't work. Little did he know that he gave him a fake one, so that's why it also didn't work. And now the Guild of Saint is trying to plan and plot something against Kingpin and everybody else around him. So now we got going back and forth about this and that and how the heroes broke out of the vaults and they stole these different items. I know the first one was probably the Hood, the Hood's cloak, his red cloak. I'm not sure what the other two items were. If anybody else know what the items were, tell me in the comments. Uh, and then they were saying, and then Daredevil was like, the heroes aren't the only people that broke out the vault. Dracula also broke out the vault, so now we're gonna have another vampire situation on our hands, like season one. And Daredevil, Kingpin was trying to hear all that. He didn't care. He was like, okay, I'm blowing from the Alchemax up anyway. So you can stop all that chatting, stop trying to talk me down, stop trying to do all this, stop trying to get to me. I don't care. He pushed the button, and then Daredevil was like, oh, you already pressed the button. Okay, you like that? Okay. Little did Kingpin know that Daredevil he stopped and took down and disarmed all explosions and the bombs. And then Kingpin got mad and he yelling all that, telling him to get out of his office, his tower, and yeah, that's about it, right? And then Matt was like, you can clean up your message by yourself. You don't always have to hire people to do your crazy work and your dirty work for yourself. You can stop all of this foolishness and try to make yourself seem like you really care about the city when you're doing it for your personal benefit and to do your crime. So that's why you put the heroes in lock. They put the city in lockdown. You put martial law on the whole city, and you're doing it for so you can make your crime easier to do with. But he's saying like, okay, you got to start cleaning all this stuff up because it's a mess. Stop hiring people to do it for you, and do it yourself. It's time to stop it. Clean it up for yourself. And yeah, that's about it. Two goats. Loose ends. Final panel. Here we go. Seems like forever since you and me hit the big cities together. Jeannie, Rogue said. Or Jeannie? Jeannie, it was Jean Grey. After taking a long sip of her coffee after the recent turmoil in Lower Manhattan, Rogue and Jean Grey found themselves in desperate need of some self-care. They decided to spend an afternoon together at a cafe they used to frequent back in their days at the Xavier School. But it wasn't just their past that the two mutants would be revisiting. It was their present, and possibly their future. Funny how something can feel like an eternity and a split second at the same time, Jean said. Time has a strange way of playing tricks on us. Sure does. Sure does. Speaking of which, Rogue said, at least that nasty time rift ain't spreading across the island anymore, right? Threat may have subsided for now, Jean replied as she eyed the reality warped Alchemix building rising high above the New York skyline. But the fact that there are still any artifacts left from another timeline tells me that our battle isn't over yet. You sure about that, Sugar? Rogue said. Last I checked, Fisk got booted out of office. His laws-bound heroes got repelled, and Dracula and his vamps got their pastry butts handed to them. Again, I say those are some big wins. If only that could happen in real life. If only that could happen in real life. All this foolishness going on in this country. Anyways, back on topic at hand. Sure, Jean agreed, but the sound of life and time is still missing. And you've been out saving the cosmos for too long, girl. Rogue said. Do you forget how to enjoy a day off? That's the thing, Jean responded. When you're the host of the Phoenix Force, there's no such thing as a day off. You're just always on full alert. You're always on full alert, waiting for the next cosmic level threat. That sounds exhausting, Rogue said. Don't know how you keep going. I don't really have a choice, Jean replied. But at least I'm not fighting alone. Darn right, Rogue said. We X-Men are starting to find our way back together, slowly but surely. Most of us, Jean said, sadness washing over her face. I miss Scott too, darling, Rogue said, placing her gloved hand on Jean's shoulder. But he's got to be out there somewhere. I know, Jean replied. Even though my psychic bond with him may have been cut off, I can still feel him. I get the sense he's closer than we think. It's just a familiar feeling I have inside, something warm and comforting. As Jean spoke, she stared down into her coffee cup, subconsciously using her telekinetic powers to trace the shape of Phoenix into the foam atop her latte. Had she been looking up, she might have noticed the faint pulse of red energy emanating from the top of Alchemix HQ. But if the cafe hadn't been on a busy Manhattan street, perhaps Jean would have been able to read the mind of the mysterious figure watching them from across the street. A mind that somehow had the exact same thought patterns as the ex-woman sitting across the table. Mmm. Look at my goat. Sitting right up here. So yeah, in this final panel, Jean and Rogue are having this little conversation about how, they needed like a little day off. They needed to have a self-care day for themselves. So they went to this cafe shop that they used to go to when they were, younger, from, going from Xavier School in his mansion and whatnot. And yeah, they went back and forth about how, Rogue was like telling her she's, relax, she's chill out a little bit. And then Jean was like, I can't really do that because I'm a host of a divine power, so to speak. So I can't really have, a day off. I can't really just have time for myself anymore because I have a responsibility to maintain these powers and use them for good and help everybody else out that I can. And so yeah, they talk about how Scotty Cyclops is he's not back in the universe as everybody else is, so he's still out there somewhere. And she said she was like she can't really feel him anymore because she had a psychic bond with him, but now it got cut because all the whole time stream entanglement stuff and the dimensions shifting and breaking in on each other. That they lost each other and now she can't really feel him anymore. She can sense him though, but she can't feel him for real, for real. And lo and behold, GOAT right there, right there. He's back in the main universe. And as she was like tracing the whole Phoenix on her whipped cream phone, her latte, she got this feeling that she senses him again. But she's actually see him though because New York being busy, you got all the sounds and stuff going on, how loud it is. So she didn't really know so much. She felt something. On the whole Scotty right there. So he's back in the main timeline now, and yeah, they're back. You got little red glasses right there. Kind of a nod to Scott when he's not wearing his visor. And you got Double Dinosaur right there, alluding to the next characters that are going to be added into the game. But yeah, that's about it. That gonna save the rest for that. So I'm gonna say about that right now. We gotta save the rest for that for season 8, volume 8. But yeah, that is The Hunt is on season 7, volume 7. So yeah, let me know what y'all thought about this season. Did y'all like it? Did y'all not like it? Did y'all think it was okay? Did y'all hate it? Did y'all love it? But yeah, we'll get more knowledge and things about what happened with Cyclops and how what's going on with him and Malcolm X and next volume, next season. But yeah, we are now finally caught up with the volumes and the storyline, plotline of Marvel Rivals. But season 8 just dropped a few days ago, so yeah, technically we're not, but we technically are because the pages take a little time to get once you buy the full battle pass, which I don't even buy it respectfully. It doesn't really capture me. So other ones have. But yeah, that is the main storyline, plotline of Marvel Rivals so far. I will get the pages for season 8. I probably might get the pages for volume 7.5. So I guess technically it goes with the story somewhat. So, but at first I have to play Blood Hunt first, or the PVE mode with the vampires to get those. So yeah, might take me a minute to get those, but I'll probably get those too. So I can just, since I guess technically it does go with the main story, but we'll see. But yeah, my main focus will be on season 8, volume 8 next, whenever I do get those. But yeah, caught up finally. So that's good for the most part. But anyways, yeah, I'm done chatting. I'm out.